welcome everybody. This is Processing the Spotlight. We're glad to have you with us today, whether you're listening by radio or in your car or at home, or maybe you're watching the YouTube channel where all of our shows are right here on YouTube. And I'm Brother Dan Goodwin, your host. Sitting with me, Dr. Charles Hilton-Biddle. We're excited to be with you all today. Doc, the TV show we're going to be doing shortly is going to be similar to this, but although this is half the time, but
sure.
I'm going to start out with something like, what in the world is going on? Because I've got all these news stories here that we're going to touch on in this brief
a lot
time
going
that we
on.
have.
A lot going on.
You can't keep up.
No, there's no way you can keep up with the changing world.
Folks, fasten your seatbelt, especially if you're driving. We're going to share some stories. You may not have heard some of these yet. The first story we're going to look at is the fact that we just heard that they were cutting back 2 million gallons.
2 million barrels a day.
A day, cutting back, OPEC.
OPEC.
OPEC nations who make the deal with all the oil prices.
That's a lot of petroleum.
Yeah. And to put that in perspective, the president came out and said he was going to release 9 million gallons out of our reserves.
Yeah,
that's what, 8? That's 4 days.
What that does.
4 days worth.
But what it's doing, every time they deplete the reserve.
Well, they're putting us at risk.
They're putting our war abilities and defense abilities at a risk.
They sure are.
Yes, all to try to buy a vote. That's all that's about.
Yeah, and that's going to be a few cents a gallon, and it ain't going to last because...
But some people just can't see past today.
Yeah, that's all politics is all that
is.
Yes,
it is.
And, but here's what was interesting about the story about OPEC. The headline here, this is from NPR. They're not a they're not a right-wing organization.
No, hardly.
They're so far the left of us we can't even see them.
Yeah.
And here's what they said: Russia and Saudi Arabia agreed to massive cuts to oil output. Here's why it matters, it says. And so Russia's involved in this with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
What a slap in the face to our country, to our president who was just over there.
We have no leverage in the world.
No.
That's the problem. Our foreign policy is nothing.
Yeah. So, and by the way, prices, I don't know when this will air, but this will air a few days or a week after we were sitting here. But as of right now, oil has already gone up. The price at the pump, right, isn't it up like 30 cents?
30 or 40 cents,
in the last week or something like that. That's a lot.
Well, I just came back from Texas, and it was $2.89 a gallon, and got back here, it's $4.19 a gallon.
Yeah, of course, you're in Illinois.
Yeah.
We come to the studio, we never buy gas.
No, I wouldn't buy it in Illinois if you can keep from it.
We fill up in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yeah.
We do, every once in a while, we stay in Illinois a while, and we have to get a little.
I told my grandsons, I said, next time I go back to Texas, I'm going to bring all the cans I got.
Well, here's another story, Doc. And by the way, I mean, what do you do about it? You got to drive your car.
There's not a thing you can do.
You have to buy gas.
No.
And there's an agenda here. And
it's an agenda. It's a worldwide agenda, not just America.
They want to control us. They want to control our travel. They want to control our bank account. We'll get to that too. But here's something that's pretty amazing here. And this is about, well, let me start with this other one. Vladimir Putin is hiding in a bunker. This is from the Mirror. And by the way, there were like 10 stories. I could have clicked on any of them and got some of the same stories.
They probably all got them from the same source.
Yeah,
but
they were all a little different. But I mean, it isn't like this is a scam story. This is real. They're claiming that Putin, now they're saying he's hiding in a bunker. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if he's hiding. That might just be.
This seems like a common practice for somebody in his position.
Yeah.
His life is in danger.
Oh, well, he's hated by many in his homeland, and he's hated by the majority of the world. But I think he's the darling of the globalists because they like what he's doing.
Yeah. Of course, he's a nationalist.
Oh, yeah.
And China's a nationalist, and America was under Trump.
We used to be.
Yeah. And so Vladimir Putin is hiding in a bunker and preparing tactical nuclear strike, source claims. Now, source claims, they don't name the source. But,
well, you know, I mean, he did fire however many it was of his generals, and I think it was 8 or 9 he put to death. It's obvious they were not as ready for war as they thought they were.
Yeah, well, the conventional war.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He don't have that many people. I mean,
no.
And when you attack somebody else's land, that's doubly difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, the British found that out in the Revolution. They were fighting on our turf, and they would all line up with their red coats on, and our guys would hide behind trees and shoot them. And, and we knew the countryside.
And same way in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we're pumping in billions of dollars around the world to support.
Yeah.
I did see an article that where the Russians went away, they left millions of dollars worth of ammo for the Ukrainians to pick up. Yeah. I saw the picture of it.
Now, America would never do something like that. Remember Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
You sure? Yeah.
What a disaster.
What a
the man should have been removed from office right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, yeah.
So this, I've been doing some shows on Facebook, and I think we talked about it on television recently, about the threat of nuclear war.
Oh, it's a real threat.
It's one of my 7 clocks in my book that I wrote, 7 clocks are ticking.
And it is a real threat.
The nuclear clock is ticking since 1945, when America dropped 2 bombs on Japan, nuclear bombs.
Right.
By the way, things were different then. There were no other nuclear powers.
No.
It wasn't like, I'll nuke them, but but they'll nuke me back. There was none of that.
And we didn't even have more than the 2 bombs we dropped. You know.
They didn't know that, but in fact, Japan still didn't surrender. But we said we were going to drop a 3rd bomb, and so they surrendered. And but we didn't have a 3rd bomb.
Yeah, but anyway, the Putin hiding, I wouldn't be surprised, but not as much hiding as it might be. He's moved his headquarters into such a secure area. It's
just like they talk about our guys, they close up the mountain, so to speak. I think it's in Colorado.
Yeah.
The operational base is in that mountain.
And it could be something of that nature. But I do think the man, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious to me that he's got something mentally wrong.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Is that propaganda? We don't know what to believe.
I don't know, but
we know one thing: our government's lying to us.
You know, he's the only. Isn't he the only guy? Him and China, aren't they the only ones that lock up the opposition to the government? Oh, wait a minute.
Well,
wait a minute.
We're doing that now.
They're doing it in America now.
We've got the January 6th people in prison without a trial, without even being charged.
And going into people's houses and arresting anybody that's pro-life.
Yeah.
You saw that couple weeks. I mean, and they're just getting started. The Gestapo's rolling.
Yeah. And if something doesn't
and they
happen,
call the right the Nazis. I mean, usually when somebody calls somebody else something, that's who they are.
Yeah. Now, I wrote on this paper here, there is a threat, and they are trying to scare the American people.
Sure.
In many of the states, New Jersey, New York, just to name a couple of them, they're running PSA announcements. That's a public service announcement. And I listened to one. It was ridiculous.
I haven't.
And it says something like, a bomb has blown up. What do you do? And basically 3 things. Get in your house, stay in your house, and listen for the government's instructions.
Right.
Now that's stupid.
Wow.
They didn't say shut your windows. They didn't say get in the shower and wash yourself. None of that. Just get in the house and turn the box on or the radio and
wait
be programmed.
Wait for your programming. Yeah.
Wait to be programmed.
Yeah.
They're also, I saw this report, and I didn't print it off, but the USA has just spent $290 million on supply on a drug that treats radiation.
Yeah, I saw that.
Poisoning.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting ready to pass it out.
Yeah. I mean, what do they know that we don't know? What's going on here? Is this just hype? Are they trying to scare us?
Well,
we do have an election coming up in a few weeks.
I'm not so sure they want it.
The most important election in the history of America.
It's very possible that's true.
Yeah.
I don't always agree with you, but I'll agree with you there.
And then 2 years from that, it'll be
even more critical.
But, if we don't take the House and the Senate,
we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
We're done.
There'll be no hope for waiting 2 more years.
Because they're putting so many things in play that will be irreversible, especially in the damage that it's going to cause. There's no way to come back from it.
So there's something else that goes with this story. Of course, they're saying that, and again, who do you believe?
Yeah, who do you believe?
Isn't it shocking? I hate to say this, but you don't know whether to believe our government or Mr. Putin. And I hate to say that.
I agree.
I'm not a communist, and I don't.
Oh, not hardly.
With communism, and but I understand why Mr. Putin doesn't want NATO putting arms in Ukraine.
As you said, he is a nationalist. But I think he's wanting to increase his nationalism.
Sure he is. They're starving up there.
Yeah.
They live in the Arctic.
He's wanting to go back to the days of the Tsar.
Yeah.
With the same territory.
Yeah. And of course, so are we. Look what's happened in our country. We got a dictator in office.
Yep, we do.
Executive orders and you know, locking people up.
Yeah.
It's kind of dangerous here.
It is dangerous.
Mr. Snowden's safer over there in Russia than he is here in America.
Well,
they would kill him immediately if they could get to him. There's another story.
Well,
here,
all they got to do is put him in a secure jail somewhere.
There's a Russian sub that we've all heard about.
Oh boy,
that's missing. And we're not talking about the kind of missing the Red October movie. Have you ever seen that? I'm sure the listeners have have watched that movie. This is a different missing. This is a sub that they lost track of on not the Russians.
Russia didn't lose track of it.
And
NATO.
We've lost it.
Track. Because everybody's watching where everybody else is, you know. But
and I think they have found it. But here's what the article says: Russian sub armed with apocalyptic.
We'll both get it in a minute. Yeah.
Russian sub armed with Apocalypse Poseidon torpedo was spotted in a satellite picture. NATO reportedly issued a warning after they lost track of this sub. Mm-hmm. They call it Russia's terrifying new mega submarine, as tensions between the West and Moscow reach a boiling point.
Yeah.
Well, of course they've reached a boiling point. You got Kamala Harris and Lindsey Graham and all these guys calling for war against Russia.
The warmongers and
they're saying if Russia launches a missile, we'll take out their whole fleet in the Baltic. Well, a lot of good that's going to do. They're going to nuke all of our cities. Who cares about the fleet in the Baltic Sea at that stage?
That's sad.
As if no problem. If he nukes us, we'll nuke his ships.
Yeah.
Big deal. The world's going to be blown up.
Yeah.
Here's what it says about this sub, and we're going to run out of time here, but this sub is 604 feet long.
2 football fields long.
Yeah, that's huge.
That is huge.
30,000 tons nuclear power, but the weapons that it carries is what's scary to people.
Yes, it is.
And who knows where this thing is.
So when Putin threatens, he does have what he could back it up with.
Yeah, and there's no winners in the nuclear war.
No, there is no winners.
Because they'll be retaliated. You can't take out everybody's subs. The subs are all over the world.
No.
And there's no winner. So I don't know what's coming, but I know that our government is trying to scare us.
Yes.
And I think the things they're saying is propaganda.
The fear factor is how you control people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, that's just a few of the stories. Poland wants the NATO to put nukes in Poland.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. This thing's just escalating.
Yes, it is.
It's unbelievable. Well, we're about out of time, folks. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Thanks for listening by radio. Contact us. We'd love to hear from you out there. And but until next time, keep your eyes on them skies.